Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and everything in between. Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm Thundercloud. Mum calls me James, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains. Let's have some Wednesday word games. Tonight, welcome Gabriel, Ashley, and our viewers out there in YouTube. We haven't got a large crowd here for you tonight, but we're still going to make it interesting anyway. Tonight I'm going to finish off my C.J. Dennis fetish, and I'm going to finish off with a book for kids, which is what he was well known for. And I'm going to start with the dedication first. This book was published by Angus and Robertson in, I'm not too sure what year I did, remiss, I didn't even look that up. 1949, this one in 1975. Dedication to all good children over 4 and under 4 and 80. Be you not over prone to pore on matters grave and weighty. May hap you'll find within this book some touch of youth's rare clowning, if you will condescend to look, and not descend to frowning. The mind of one small boy may hold odd fancies and inviting to guide a hand unsure and old that moves these days to writing. For hair once bright in days of yore grows grey or somewhat slaty, and now, alas, he's over 4, though under 4 and 80. So that's the dedication there. Now, another one that he's well known for is a poem called Kappa Kamalonga. Rover, rover, cattle drover, where go you today? I go to Kappa Kamalonga, 50 miles away. Over plains where summer rains have sung a song of glee, over hills where laughing rills go seeking for the sea. I go to Kappa Kamalonga to my brother Bill, then come along, come to Kappa Kamalonga, come to Kappa Kamalonga Hill. Rover, rover, cattle drover, how do you get there? For 20 miles I amble on upon my pony mare, then walk a while and talk a while to countrymen I know, then up to ride a mile beside a team that travels slow. At last to Kappa Kamalonga, riding with a will, then come along, come to Kappa Kamalonga, come to Kappa Kamalonga Hill. Rover, rover, cattle drover, what do you do then? I camp beneath a currajong with 3 good cattlemen. Then off away at break of day, with strong hands on the reins, to laugh and sing while mustering the cattle on the plains. For up at Kappa Kamalonga life is jolly still, then come along, come along. Come to Kappa Kamalonga, come to Kappa Kamalonga Hill. Rover, rover, cattle drover, how may I go too? I'll saddle up my creamy colt and he shall carry you. My creamy colt who will not bolt, who does not shy nor kick, will pack the load and take the road and travel very quick. And if the day brings work or play, we'll meet it with a will. So hi for Kappa Kamalonga, come along, come along, come to Kappa Kamalonga Hill. Yeah, that's that, Kappa Kamalonga. The next one I've got here from him is Our Street. But before that, there's a little one about Woolloomooloo. Here's a ridiculous riddle for you. How many O's are in Woolloomooloo? 2 for the W, 2 for the M, 4 for the L's. That's plenty for them. 2, 4, 6, 8. Our street. In our street, the main street, running through the town, you'll see a lot of busy folk going up and down. Bag men and basket men, men with loads of hay, buying things and selling things and carting things away. The butcher is a funny man. He calls me Dandy Dick. The baker is a cross man. Think he's often sick. The fruiterer is a nice man. He gives me apples too. The grocer says, "Good morning, boy. What can I do for you?" Of all the men in our street, I like the cobbler best. Tap, tap, ping, at his last, without a minute's rest. Talking all the time he taps, driving in the nails. Smiling with his grey old eyes. Hush, telling fairy tales. And I'm going to finish off here from C.J. Dennis with this one called Going to School. Did you see them pass today? Billy, Kate and Robin, all astride upon the back of old grey Dobbin, jogging off to school down the dusty track. What must Dobbin think of it, 3 upon his back? Robin at the bridle rein and in the middle Kate, Billy holding on behind, his legs out straight. Now they're coming back from school, jig, jog, jig. See them at the corner where the gums grow big. Dobbin flicking off the flies and blinking in the sun. Having 3 upon his back he thinks is splendid fun. Robin at the bridle rein and in the middle Kate. Little Billy up behind, his legs out straight. Yeah, so that's C.J. Dennis from a book for kids here. Now I've got one here that I've pulled up on the internet from Skye, because Skye's not here, so I'm going to do one of hers that she's done. Because this is the month of the Dirty 30 Challenge. Now, in poetry news, up until the 1st of May, I think you've got to enter the Cloncurry Prize. It's run by... Who's running it? Look, you can look it up online. It's also on the Facebook on the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I've put a link to it. It's just one of Australia's richest poetry prizes. It's worth $10,000. It's all the details are there online, and it closes the 1st of May. So I thought I'd let you know. Oh, and the reason why, because it's the resting place of $10 Mary Gilmore. From our $10 note, Mary Gilmore on one side, Banjo Paterson on the other side, and so one of our greatest female poets, from up that way. Cloncurry is where she rests.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She had all that tough time out in the bush when she was young.
She sure did. Well, this one's by Skye. It's 4 days ago, and it's called From the Dirty 30 Challenge. So every year on Facebook for International Poetry Month, which is April, there's the Dirty 30 Challenge, and you can just look it up and join it, and it's 30 days of poetry prompts, and here's Skye's prompt from day 8 here. It's called Go Nuts. Whatever you like, go nuts. You know, it's just a fling, I mean, you're nuts, and it's a beautiful thing. As I'm writing, I just want to sing. It's a beautiful song, even though it's a little bit wrong. Flapping my hands like a bird in pink thongs, thinking I'm sane. Squawking along until they sedate me, then cage me, and now I'm feeling so numb. That's it.
She likes her short poems, doesn't she?
She does, definitely. All right, and so yeah, that's it. And what have I done in the Dirty 30? Just because I've been in there in the Dirty 30 as well. Let me see. I have done some stuff there, so I will read out to you what I've done. I've just got to pull them up here because I have got them screenshotted and ready for you already. Close. Okay, what do I have this week? Oh, Free Write Friday. Yeah, that was. We just had to write like a train of thought. I had a bit of help here with the, what do you call it? The auto prompt on the screen. The auto predict, text predict. So this is a bit of nonsense anyway. Day 13, day 14, Free Write Friday. If you go to the convention centre, everything is fine with me and you can come and share your poem or just come and watch or tune into my mind. The next night, the elephant eats the apple of my friends and I don't know what to say that you can understand. This week, I have no right or left for work tomorrow morning and how much you have is none of my business. The damage was a little bit more than I expected. You're welcome to the office today and tomorrow night and sweet dreams and wishes for you to write poetry in the middle of the night. We have to go out for a while to figure out how to make a war of words. Film the last one and only film the last one before the end of Fred and the rest of your life is a very upset chicken. Mandate organic food and daily exercise for the health of the nation. Just random thoughts. It was actually harder than I thought, because I really didn't know what to write. When they say just write free write, and if you don't have a topic and you just start writing, that's some of the things what you end up with. So yeah, that was last Friday. Have I got day 13 here? I'm not too sure. I do. But all right, day 15. We had to imagine that we were stuck with the most positive person you know. Now, there's a poet in America, and his name's Billy Allsbrooks. He also does sort of these motivational talks. So, and you'll find him online on YouTube there, I guess, and you'll find him online. Billy Allsbrooks. Billy Allsbrooks on my team, a dream, chased, embraced, whoppable, blessed and unstoppable. Live in power every hour, never cower, climb the tower to the top. Never give up or stop. Daily train, embrace the pain, no gain, not floppable, but blessed and unstoppable. That's Billy Allsbrooks. Yeah, I really wasn't sort of in the mood for writing that day. I was like, yeah, let's get that out quick.
Do you have to submit them, or is it just a domestic exercise that they do?
It's basically, it's a page on a group on Facebook that you join, and then he gives you Abdul gives you what's his name, prompt every day, and you write to that prompt, and if you miss out, you can go back and catch up and that kind of stuff. I think I've been doing it for about 4
You toss
years.
it back into the group.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they all read each other's poems and comment and stuff like that. And the group's grown. I think there's well over a couple of thousand people in it now too. So, and it's been going for quite a number of years. I've been doing it for about 4 years. I think.
But only in April?
Only April, yeah. Yeah, the Dirty 30 Challenge, it's called. Now, you've been away. Would you like to come on up?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Welcome back, Gabriel Donleavy.
Hi everybody. I've just been to Japan because I booked it 3 years ago and COVID meant it had to be rebooked every year, and by the time we actually got to go, can we be bothered? But we went. I've written something as a result, which I'll come to in a minute. But the other thing I want to present tonight is the answer to the question, why did Bob Dylan get the Nobel Prize for Literature? Many of us, my sort of age, know his songs one way and another, but we probably haven't done a lot of reflection on his words. We tended to write him off as a protest singer, and he found religion and love later. But one of the things that he wrote, which is well known for its title, but hardly anybody knows the actual lyrics, is my favourite song of all time. When I was at school in the 50s and 60s in Birmingham, England, we had a history teacher, and we all had to do the Bible in those days, and he said you can justify anything in from the Bible because the Bible is not a book, it's a library. And this particular song, It's All Right Ma, is a library, and it covers almost everything. So let me remind you, or for some of you, introduce you to those words. Darkness at the break of noon, shadows, even the silver spoon, the handmade blade, the child's balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. To understand you know too soon, there is no sense in trying. Pointed threats, they bluff with scorn, suicide remarks are torn. From the fool's gold mouthpiece, the hollow horn, plays wasted words, proves to warn that he's not busy being born, he's busy dying. Temptation's page flies out the door. You follow, find yourself at war. Watch waterfalls of pity roar. You feel to moan, but unlike before, you discover that you've just been one more person crying. So don't fear if you hear a foreign sound to your ear. It's all right, Ma, I'm only sighing. A some-won victory, some downfall. Private reasons, great or small, can be seen in the eyes of those that call to make all that should be killed to crawl, while others say, don't hate nothing at all except hatred. Disillusioned words like bullets bark as human gods aim for their mark, make everything from toy guns that spark to flesh-coloured Christs that glow in the dark. It's easy to see without looking too far that not much is really sacred. While preachers preach of evil fates, teachers teach that knowledge waits, can lead to $100 plates, and goodness hides behind its gates, and even the President of the United States sometimes must have to stand naked. And though the rules of the road have been lodged, it's only people's games that you gotta dodge, and it's all right, Ma, I can make it. Advertising signs that con you into thinking you're the one that can do what's never been done, that can win what's never been won. Meantime, life outside goes on all around you. You lose yourself, you reappear. You suddenly find you've got nothing to fear. Alone you stand with nobody near, when a trembling, distant voice, unclear, startles your sleeping ears to hear that somebody thinks they really found you. A question in your nerves is lit, yet you know there is no answer fit to satisfy, ensure you not to quit, to keep it in your mind and not forget that it is not he or she or them or it that you belong to. But though the masters make the rules for the wise men and the fools, I got nothing more to live up to. For them that must obey authority that they do not respect in any degree, who despise their jobs, their destiny, speak jealously of them that are free, do what they do just to be nothing more than something they invest in, while some on principles baptize, to strict party platforms ties, social clubs in drag disguise, outsiders they can freely criticize, tell nothing except who to idolize and say God bless him, while one who sings with his tongue on fire gargles in the rat race choir, bent out of shape from society's pliers, cares not to come up any higher, but rather get you down in the hole that he's in. But I mean no harm, nor put fault on anyone that lives in a vault. But it's all right, ma, if I can't please him. Old lady judges watch people in pairs, limited in sex they dare, to push fake morals, insult and swear, while money doesn't talk, it swears. Obscenity, who really cares? Propaganda, all is phony. While them that defend what they cannot see, with a killer's pride, security, it blows the minds most bitterly. For them that think death's honesty won't fall upon them naturally, life sometimes must get lonely. My eyes collide head on with stuffed graveyards, false dolls I scoff, a pettiness which plays so rough. Walk upside down inside handcuffs, kick my legs to crash it off, say, okay, I've had enough, what else can you show me? And if my thought dreams could be seen, they'd probably put my head in a guillotine, but it's all right, ma, it's life and life only. Now, I put it to you that is a work of genius.
Wow, yeah. That is, that's fantastic. Yeah.
I'm going to do another one of his, and then I'll do my own, and then I'm off. Now, Bob Dylan was born a Jew, became a regular secular atheist, spiritual, had a long Christian period, and one of his more famous songs expresses very well what's in the centre of all of that conflict. And as a poem on its own right, it's almost as striking as It's All Right, Mark. And this is The Gates of Eden. Of war and peace, the truth just twists its curfew goal, it glides. Upon four-legged forest clouds, the cowboy angel rides. With his candle lit into the sun, though its glow is waxed in black, all except when 'neath the trees of Eden, the lamppost stands with folded arms, its iron claws attached, to curb 'neath holes where babies wail, though its shadow's metal badge. All in all can only fall with a crashing but meaningless blow. No sound ever comes from the gates of Eden. The savage soldier sticks his head in sand and then complains. And to the shoeless hunter who's gone deaf but still remains, upon the beach where hound dogs bay at ships with tattered sails, heading for the gates of Eden, with a time-rusted compass blade, Aladdin and his lamp, sits with utopian hermit monks, side saddle on the golden calf, and on their promises of paradise you will not hear a laugh, all except inside the gates of Eden. Relationships of ownership, they whisper in the wings, to those condemned to act accordingly and wait for succeeding kings. And I try to harmonise with songs. The lonesome sparrow sings, there are no kings inside the gates of Eden. The motorcycle black Madonna, two-wheeled gypsy queen, and her silver-studded phantom cause the grey flannel dwarf to scream, as he weeps to wicked birds of prey who pick up on his breadcrumbs sins, and there are no sins inside the gates of Eden. The Kingdoms of experience in the precious winds they rot, while paupers change possessions, each one wishing for what the other has got. And the princess and the prince discuss what's real and what is not. It doesn't matter inside the gates of Eden. The foreign sun it squints upon a bed that's never mine, as friends and other strangers from their fates try to resign. Living men wholly, totally free to do anything they wish to do but die, and there are no trials inside the gates of Eden. At dawn, my lover comes to me and tells me of her dreams, with no attempts to shovel a glimpse into the ditch of what each one means. At times I think there are no words, but these to tell what's true, and there are no truths outside the gates of Eden.
That's good. Yeah.
Come back to him in future. I'm going to dredge all of his work for stuff of that lyrical quality. There's got to be quite a few more than that. Now, finally, from me today, Japan, as I've mentioned previously, I like to explore, and I'm in the process of a long work in progress exploring the frontiers of words and poetry, and been disappointed when I was looking at concentration camps and Holocaust and Auschwitz that the words hadn't got there yet. So on this Japanese trip, almost climaxing in many ways with a visit to the site of the A-bomb in Hiroshima and the Peace Museum, I was expecting that it wouldn't be any different. They would somehow not quite do it, but actually I was wrong, as this poem will hopefully illustrate. This is called The Raven of Hiroshima. A field gleams green at ground zero. A low-stretched building stands behind, its grey walls clean from top to toe, this anti-temple of mankind. I walk with others, slowly queuing, blasé about the sights I'll find, as I have done much previous viewing of people's peeled and cheesy rind, but like the Hiroshima folk, we all might as well be blind. Our eyes are strangers to the smoke that photos hint at, tersely signed. Relentlessly the story builds, texts, photos, paintings well aligned to numbness of the numbers killed, too fast, too slow, all too unkind. The sadness clear throughout Japan has its black hole centred here. I want to cry, and though I can, it's infinitely insufficient here. At last I exit to the field, where I stare and fix my gaze on its stately, silent, black bird, its head bound down, funereal raver.
Well. Thank you very much. So here's a little morning one. I know day 16 of the Dirty 30 we were challenged to write stream of consciousness. Like meditate, sit down and meditate and write stream of consciousness, but they wanted it into sort of poetic form. So in the early morning sun, I sit and quietly watch the Monday morning call and coloured autumn leaves falling hodgepodge. Images of a flowing creek appears in the morning mist. Hustle bustle in the street, steering wheels with clenched fists. Heart pump, thump, bowels begin to move, anus clenched rump. Oh fuck, one sip of coffee makes me want to dump. But I'm writing Dirty 30 poetry while I quietly shit. Gonna have to go finish it while I quietly shit. A 4-wheel drive pulls up into my morning sun. move aside into the sun, unaffected by this one. Sitting quietly in the sun, in my peace, and this is when circumstances don't matter, state of being is bliss. That was written Monday morning. And then there was another one there where we were actually challenged to write like a stream of consciousness at the most stressful time of the day. And it was actually that day that I'd taken off, and that was Monday, so that was morning. Morning was great. By 10 to 4, it was my day off. I'd had worked 13 days straight this week, and I'm up because of working through Easter. That's right. And yeah. So you'll have to. Well, you know, I do put a bit of profanity in, so there's going to be a few bits in this. So this was written at 3:50, and I've just been constantly interrupted quite a lot that afternoon during my day off. And so here we go. And we were allowed to write with no form, no punctuation, and it just had to be like just one continuous rant. So yeah. 13 days straight of work, but today is my day, and all I want to say is fuck off and leave me alone. I need this rest day. Because I don't care about you or your agenda or any of your shit, but if you're here, then I'm going to silently tolerate it and shut up, as I have nothing to say except that I'm not one little bit interested in any single thing you've got to say, because after 13 days straight working, today is my self-care day, so I'm free to say fuck off out of my face and leave me alone, and to enjoy the sunshine and bliss of this beautiful sunny Monday cunt. And every shithead in the world has a dark side, and that's what you're witnessing here, which is a cathartic release of built-up stress, so that when I have to put up with idiots tomorrow, I can be patient, tolerant, hospitable, at my fucking best, because I had a good fucking rest and didn't tolerate any distress, but sat in the sun quietly, did some exercise and yoga, ate nutritiously, exposed myself to huge stress so that tomorrow I can be my very best. Yeah. That's the end of that.
Which is the profanity, not fucking sure.
Oh,
in
cunt,
this
I
day
think.
and age.
Yeah, cunt, I think it was. But
I didn't hear a cunt. Was
oh
there?
yeah, there was one in there. Yeah. I really do sometimes. Like, I've been known to like work myself to buggery till I like actually like stress the fuck out and like lose my shit.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much on the edge of it this week, actually, but because it was my day off, I actually lost it there in this piece of poetry, which was really good. I know that, like, there's been times where I've had to work through, like, really, really long days there in Nimbin, like through Mardi Gras, through Easter and Christmas and that. And yeah, it's stressful. Yeah, particularly here, because I live here, and I'm sort of like, I wake up in the morning, and as soon as I'm eating breakfast, I'm cleaning up the kitchen, getting ready for everything. So
you almost need to leave on Monday.
Oh,
leave the building.
That's why I often would go to Woodale if I could. Yeah. So I was out there, sitting out there, and that's where some fella just walked up, and that's the bit that's like where I say where I want to say fuck off out of my face and leave me alone to enjoy the sunshine and bliss of this beautiful sunny Monday cunt. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I go into, and every shithead in the world has a dark side, and that's what you're witnessing here, which is a cathartic release of built-up stress, so that when I have, yeah. Ashley, would you like to come up? I don't actually think people are idiots, by the way.
Do you need that?
No.
But when you're like in that,
Change my structure and format.
oh yeah.
I thought I got out of my little white bubble gets, which always intrigues me. I love to drive a product that had to be cease a cessation of production because if it's too successful. It really intrigues me. It does actually. The engineering and economics and world horizon of all of that. And I thought, the reason I'm so focused on the car, I thought I'd taken my 3 rulers from the side, but I am forlorn and torn between two. Hypothesis is that I'm not a perfect person, I forget things, and I go into a rage, but usually an implosion, not an explosion. And on the other hand, on the other pole, we have the implications of that. Well, I'm still alive and I'll hit myself. I am alive. I'm not a sadomasochist, although I enjoyed that. And I must say in parting tonight that the third one, which represents P or T, parameter or test, needs to be brought into the triadic relationship. Hello. When I woke up this morning, I pressed my button to read Moon of Alabama and see what the various viewpoints on blood, and what should pop up but this fascinating little item from Melbourne, 1943, a book that had been published for Americans so they would understand, as they were interacting with Aussies on the way to Tokyo, that Drongo means a horse, and I read later that Drongo was a horse that went to so many starts and stopped that Australians started saying you bloody Drongo, because the Drongo never won across the finish line. A Drogo was a rookie, a Shield is a babe, a Kleiner, a Snenny and a Shivo. Well, a Kleiner and a Snenny, they're 2 more babes. A Shivu is a party, an Inchi is a scram, Shicket is drunk, Chivy is giving lip, Plonk is cheap wine, Smooge is to woo a girl or pitch around, Stonkard means that you're KO'd, Boko is your nose, Shout means to buy drinks, Zack is a sixpence, a ding dong is a swell. Well, in our time, ding dong was a punch up. Yakka, the Aussie for hard work. Bonza, great. Cobber is your pal. Wowzer, a sour stuffed shirt. Cow, it stinks. Matilda, a tramp's bundle. Swaggy, the tramp himself. Drop your bundle, give up. Tar, thanks. GG's, well, that's a race, but GG's became the horses themselves. Moke, a nag. Brumby, Bronco, Billy, a tin can for making tea. People wrote in on Facebook and they said, oh, I'm from south of the Murray, from Victoria, and I've hardly ever heard any of these. And I wrote back and said, well, I'm a New South Welshman, and I've heard 90% of them, and many of them have changed meaning, but they're still in usage. So there you are, a little bit of a lesson on Aussie lingo and patois. Every continent, made up of various tribes of people, past, present and future, has to have such things. One of my friends also appeared while I was sitting contemplating my life position in the Fat Goose this morning, and this poem of his popped up. Said, can I read it? He said, go ahead, I'm glad it resonated. Well, it did, and it seems relevant to a lot of the things read this evening. That's by Paul Ogden. If you want to look him up on YouTube or on the computer, I think there's dozens of poems and lots of singing you can go to and explore and enjoy. He's an inimitable fellow who looks down onto the main parks of Lismore before Armidale before you cross over into the Beatty Street and shopping precinct. Anyway, Paul Ogden. How many times can you arrive? Hit goer, I'd arrived. 88, massive. Hip hippie, HQ. Survived to find my true kinship. Arrived in 91. To yuppie hell, no way. My mission had begun. So here I had to stay. Arrived in MMI, in Armidale again. Even worse, oh my. Again come out my pen. Sounds a bit menacing, doesn't it? 2015, my home, my fortress with a view, the end of my great roam, and eating lots of poo. Arrival now for sure. 15 albums have I, cool now for being poor. Street creds time cred is why. Streets creds time cred is why. Feels like the time has come for this bum. Yeah, there's a lot of interactions and patterns there, and relationships to various things read tonight.
You said Paul Ogden.
Paul Ogden, yeah. A very interesting fellow, Paul. And I will finish with a poem of Julian Croft's. Takes 5 or 6 minutes to read, but it's one of the important pieces of writing, I think, from the New England tableland in the last 50 years. It's in his collection, Julian Croft, Ocean Island. If a poem is a portrait, then this portrait is a poem. It's called After a War, and in brackets, any war, and at the end it's got the number 2000 and the name Newcastle, Newcastle 2000. So I'll start and end with Newcastle 2000. In Freetown, I sat by the radio for 2 years, listening to the shortwave roll back and forth across Biafra, Ecot, Tekpenny, Oweri, Port Harcourt, just down the coast, while I watched safe above the harbour as the sun set deep in the slavers' Atlantic. So far above it all, and beyond what happened in Longtan or My Lai, out of that because I was conceived when my father was on leave in September 1940, and born when he was on manoeuvres 5 months before he went to Malaya, and 3.5 years as a prisoner. Safe in the peace of existential depression, the ingrown anxiety of life of those who were in school when the Yalu River burst, and never had to face the Chinese human wave which swept the next generation of diggers back to Panmunjom. And safe in the hothouse hedonism of booze and travel on the right side of the Iron Curtain, I warmed myself by the Cold War's electric tension, stretched to the thrill of militant peace, and marched in moratoriums till I sit here in merry weather and watch the sun come up from Chile and Argentina in their dirty wars and shine on me now at the water's edge. An open beach far from the harbour I once called home, where the dead and mutilated were stacked in stinking piles in Wilberforce last January. I saw the photos in the news as it happened, on the net before the sun which curdled those corpses arrived to warm this open beach, where in 1942 they thought the Japanese would land, and we were evacuated for 3 months until the horror passed. And even now I wake in the night and hear the planes come in, and the tidal wave of swamping change rise out of usual horizon and bear us all away to today, where the westerly has laid everything flat, and the surf slides and creeps like history, and someone listens for signal in all the noise. And that noise is now, the present confused with all its freight of what has gone before, different for each of us. The noise of spring and freezes in the lawn, the first butterflies, and we were on the beach swimming before breakfast, the water cold as the wave which drops from the opened ice chest, but the top layer of sand dried like old mortar. Warm to walk on, but frangible and breaking through into the cold underworld which our feet are always part of. Poised to take their first plunge of the year, father and son into the Antarctic current to be chilled into sudden salty life. My father who made such ingenious things as my own life. And now, he's again in this new world of peace. Who locked up the slavering human beast of war in a peacetime house and garden with tennis court and surf laid on. It seemed proof against anything. And as I float in the cold current of the rest of my life, always within cooee of the beach, he rises in the morning wind toward our new dawn and disappears forever into the fiery eye of the beast he thought he had finally tamed. A death by fire makes minor headlines. That happens every day in lesser ways, and there is in the Sydney Morning Herald. But the obsequies which followed in our industrial town were of a fitting nature, ash in the grate, gritty smoke in every eye. Nothing is made without fire, and nothing undone without its virtue, so everywhere had fire. Tiled and domesticated in its cast iron basket, it warms the housebound and is the child's vision of the world to come. More alive than the sleeping dog, it is book and song and sunlight, comforting nurse without big sister's smoke and smell. The backyard incinerator which consumes all that is dead and past, or uncle's open hearth where fallen angels play with magic pokers to create the new, or mother's gas ring, grandma's copper, close relatives in steam with all that graze along the wharves and railway lines. Bright fire is story and belief in mysteries. So when they told me you were a box of ashes, it seemed that was how things were each cold morning. A new start with the broom and pan. Clear out the past, put it in a box, post it in a wall, along a garden where roses grow clean, equal and confined, like an equation which explains the world. That, though the outer shells may change, within life's energies are always conserved. Perhaps that's why I've never returned, to see if the roses grow, especially peace, the one they'd just released the year before. And if the wall is standing, the long honeycomb of bricks, grouted together by so many bodies, not to weep upon, but to stare at and realise that everything is still the way it was, and nothing changed, though I'm older now than your own father when you died, nor have I brought my sons to see the fruits of peace blooming in vigorous display among their thorns, because, thank God, they have yet to know a war. So, all my life, though I have been to none, I've carried within me a war, and scars like a birthmark without cause or pride, invisible stains of peace from when men came home to that other world of women and found that neither recognised the other. Unfamiliars who spoke different languages and lived different lives. Two hemispheres in one household where each inhabits other seasons and reads other skies at night. Tribes of children who do not know their fathers and resent the stranger, ignorant of their rituals. Hard men whose eyes are blank as Caesar's as they watch for faults, then walk down sleepless, moonlit corridors in search of the peace they waited for so long. Who find it here, in my own wakenings in the night, when in the dark of all those years I hear at last the sounds of parents talking. It is the white noise of peace, the sleeping babble of the kids at night. Newcastle, 2000. And that is after a war, in brackets, any war.
Wow. Pretty powerful, that, yeah.
The whole collection, as I said 3 or 4 months, the whole collection is really something.
Oh, I don't have much left for you. I got a couple actually. Yeah.
You really feel Newcastle in that poem.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't grow up being a Queenslander with those combustion stoves, did you? Did you have them in your life? Those combustion stoves
yeah,
were
we
such a
did,
big
we
part.
did.
You did,
Yeah.
on winter nights, yeah.
All right, I do have some stuff here for you, so yeah, don't worry. Okay, day... here we go. I've got some poetry I've written, yeah. So one morning, sitting in the sun, I decided a decision to make some fun, thinking about it as you do. I'll leave you guessing if it's true. In my head grew one horn, as I turned into a unicorn. Then all over I began to glow, and out of my horn shot a rainbow. My hair turned green and blue, red, orange, yellow, purple too, flew through the sky on golden wings. The sight made people do things that were silly and also funny. One man jumped in a pot of honey. A fat lady started eating rainbow chard. A vegan jumped into a tub of lard. Vegetables were grown at home. Every garden had organic loam. People all changed what they eat. Government banned sugar treats. Every home had a compost bin. Eating produce, people got thin. Governments were unelected. Representative democracy became direct. All the chickens were pasture fed. All people stopped eating bread. A united world without war was born. When I changed into a unicorn. Flying as high as a thundercloud, in this world no weapons were allowed. When people greet, they hug and kiss. As a rainbow unicorn, I brought bliss. Just take my hand back.
Good.
Get rid of a bit of war. Okay. The prompt was for day 13 of the Dirty 30 challenge, which actually leads into another one, like I've got a pronoun one about it later. You woke up and you had lost a body part. You had to make it believable. I am what I am as a man, a willy, nuts, I piss and stand. One day I awoke fully out of luck, my penis was gone and I couldn't fuck. I felt my face, it was smooth and weird. In the night I'd lost my beard. I felt around my other bits and I noticed I'd grown a couple of tits. Looked in the mirror to my surprise, there was a woman before my eyes. A thought occurred, this is strange. I'm a woman, I didn't ask to change. Should I change my name to Karen or Jane? I changed my ID. Oh, what a pain. Walked into the closet to get dressed. Well, I think a miniskirt would make my legs look best. Then I realised that I was a man who'd awoke in the morning as a woman. And this wasn't normal, it was quite strange. So I went to the doctor, who was a specialist in sex change. Asked, can you help me to grow my bits back? I don't want to be Jane, I like James or Jack. The doctor replied, yes, you're very sick. But when you recover, you'll regrow your dick. It's a case of gender bender, get some rest. Please sit to pee and stop making a mess. I went home and went to sleep for a week. When I awoke, I had a feel, then a peek. My bits were back and I could piss and stand. Cured, I'd regrown all the bits of a man. My muscles were large, I was bigger and stronger, my beard regrown and my penis was longer. Now I know what it's like to gender change. It's strange. It's strange, yeah. And then there was this one that sort of was based on the pronoun it. It is a pronoun. It can be a tree. It could replace both he and she. It is a turd. It has no gender. It is a word for a gender bender. It is part of shit. It is in Italy. It is also in twit. It is you and me. It is the universe. It is the earth. It is what it's called before its birth. the pronoun it. And I've got a couple more left to do, 2 to go. There's a 70s thing and the icons, the emojis, the emoticons on your keypad, on your phone. You've got your emoji, you've got smiley faces, and you've got a whole range of things now. Like there's over 100 there. All right, and this is about them. They're right. The laughter icon. Are they laughing with or at you? I guess it all depends on your point of view. And thumbs up, what? Stick your thumb up your bum? Or is that some kind of positive thumb? Are you angry or plain mad? And when you put the sad icon, are you sad for me or do I make you sad? Or are you letting yourself get sad? Here, have a heart, a rainbow, or unicorn. How about a fart, motorbike, caterpillar, blue heart? Let me think. How about an eggplant? Or a few hearts that are pink. There are icons for food, weather, a bull, and truck, but I had to search Google and then Pinterest to find what the fuck. And yeah, there is a WTF icon. And the last one, it's called It's a 70s Thing. It was written on a device, mind you. However, so yesterday I was in the IGA and I went to pay and the groceries came to 1975. I was 5 years old, so that means I was born in 1970 and I grew up in those childhood years in the 70s. And I said to the lady serving me, who's only around my age, I said, oh, 1975 sounds like a good year. She said, yeah, it was. I said, yeah, there was no devices. She said, yeah, that's right. We got to go outside. So I came home and this is what I wrote. So it's not long, it's just a few short couplets. It's a 70s thing, and the young wouldn't understand the simple pleasure of life without a device in hand. Entertaining ourselves by throwing sticks and stones, told to go and get some fresh air and get out of home. Yes, we were the last generation to be fit and healthy in our childhood, out roaming free, swimming or outside in a forest, breathing fresh air. Home by 5 p.m. or a reverse charges call from somewhere. Boredom was cured with go outside and play. Cubby houses, slingshots, lighting fires, riding bikes all day. The last children to have the freedom of no device in hand. It's a 70s thing, and the young wouldn't understand. Yeah, unless they've got parents who say, no, you can't have a device until you're this old. Well, thank you for coming along tonight, Gabriel, Ashley. Thank you out there in YouTube world for joining us on Wednesday Words. Just a short, quick one tonight. But all the same, very interesting. Most interesting to hear that Bob Dylan stuff. Thank you, Gabriel. And was that Julian Croft, was it? Yeah, as well. That was also fantastic.
After war, any war. Newcastle 2000.
Oh, yeah, and that's what it's called, After War, Any War.
War in brackets, yes. And at the end he has just Newcastle 2000. It's quite I think it's a wonderful.
It's strange because like as I was listening to it, I got the impression it was like World War II kind of thing. Yeah, but it's any war. Yeah.
It moves around in his personality, and through his personality, swimming with his father and the separation from women too, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was
Okay.
very good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. If you like this, give it a thumbs up or subscribe, and also leave a comment there in the comments.
Q.
Mm.